how do we deal with questions like this? Do we believe that God still speaks to us when things feel dull? And if He does still speak to us, how can we connect to God when we are stuck in, perhaps far away from our friends or our pastors, people who we would usually get spiritual input from? Well, I think that there is a way that will absolutely grow a connection to God and allow Him to have a firmer place in our lives. And that can be done very, very simply by peeling potatoes. Okay, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, so I should let you know that there is some context to this. A few centuries ago, there was a phenomenal, phenomenal man by the name of Brother Lawrence. Brother Lawrence was mentally and physically disabled. So when he wanted to become a monk in a monastery, at the time a very prestigious role, he was looked down upon and wasn't allowed to. However, the monastery didn't turn him away. They said that he could have a role in the kitchen by peeling potatoes. That's all it was. Day in, day out, scrubbing and peeling, scrubbing and peeling, scrubbing and peeling. Now, this would absolutely be enough to knock me down. I would have given up by this point. However, Brother Lawrence saw this as an opportunity to get closer to God. He had a lot of time on his hands. The work he was doing wasn't difficult, and all he was doing was peeling potatoes, so he used this time to get closer to God. He started by saying, for every 1 minute in an hour, I will devote to God. I will use that minute to be aware of God's presence, knowing that God is with me even as I'm peeling potatoes. As time went on, he said, 1 minute every hour isn't enough. Let's do 1 second every minute. Now, his personal relationship with God grew exponentially. It went from strength to strength. But this is not where the story ends. Because as the monks started to get to know Brother Lawrence, they realized there was a lot of wisdom there. They went to him for advice, and they went to him for counsel. Effectively, this man, who was too thick to join a monastery and was designated to potato duty, was leading some of the best church leaders at the time. So what does this mean to us today? Well, I think it means that God is everywhere. He is there in the mundane. He is there in the quiet. He is there when there seems to be absolutely nothing happening. So, in all this coronavirus madness, when we're stuck inside, not seeing our friends, not seeing our church community, not being able to interact with people the way we normally would, we can know that God is still with us. I want to encourage you today not just to make God a item on your to-do list or to set some time apart for God, which is very important, but to set some time with God and leave it at that. Rather, how can you invite God into your everyday? When you're watching TV, when you're chatting to a friend, when you're cooking. This is not to say that you need to make this some super spiritual, religious experience, but just realize that all good things come from God. Every act that we do, every breath that we take, can be seen as an act of worship to God. I sincerely believe that if I had to do this more, my spiritual life would grow, and I hope it can for you too. So why not go ahead now and peel some potatoes? See you next week, lovely church.